What's up YouTube? This is your boy Adrian from West Coast Reptiles. Today we're going to make an arboreal snake enclosure out of this container store drawer tub right here. So the inside dimensions of this tub is measuring 11 by 19 long by 11 high. 11 by 19. We're going to take our pilot point bit right here, drill a couple starter holes for our jigsaw. Now I'm going to go with a metal jigsaw blade, a fine tooth jigsaw blade, and the pilot bit that I used, the jigsaw blade will fit right in that hole. Cut it nice and slow. We're going to take a flat file, and clean up the edges and all the burrs right here. We're going to focus on this bottom part because that's where our trade's going to slide in and out. So now I'm going to grab my plexiglass door and mark it, cut size. We're going to grab our jigsaw again with the same blade and go ahead and cut our door. We want to cut slow again, and right now I'm cutting on about speed 3. Alright guys, so here's a quick overview of my parts that I'm using. Got these hinges right here. Got these machine screws with nuts and these window screen fasteners. I got all this at Home Depot right here. So I just marked this area where I'm going to cut for the hinge. It's going to sit right here. I'm going to mark the holes where I'm going to drill for the hinges. Alright, so what I did here, I attached the hinge with the machine screws and the nuts. So what I did, I put the head of the screw on the inside of the enclosure, and I'm going to cover it with some silicone or something later. So the thread and the nut is going to be exposed on the outside. The head of the screw is going to be on the inside for a more clean finish. So now going to center the door again, then going to mark the holes that I'm going to drill for the hinges on the enclosure. Now I'm going to drill them out. So now we're going to pop open these screen clips, and we're going to use the 1/8 inch adapter that it comes with. This acrylic that I'm using is 1/8 inch thick. We got our holes drilled. We're going to be using these bolts that came with these clips, and you have to buy the nuts separate. So we got some 10x24 nuts to fit these bolts right here. All right, I've got the front clips installed. They work really nicely. Nice and snug. It's not going anywhere. So what I did on this one, I stacked 2 lock washers on the bolt. Ran it through, used that 1/8 inch spacer with the clip itself and a nut. Next, I'm going to add another clip up here, so that way I can lock the drawer from coming out. So we're going to drill a hole up here, pop a screw with a spacer if needed, and then we're going to mark and cut a little notch where that clip could just swivel into and lock the drawer in place. Alright, give you guys a closer look here. I made that notch where that clip is installed with the screw. I didn't want to, I could have just cut it all the way, but I wanted to give it still a little handle right there where I could pull out nice and center. So I just cut a notch instead of just cutting the whole section off. And that's clipped in nice and good. I used the 1/16 inch spacer right there. So I used one of these small guys, small thin ones right there. And it seems to work fine, and nothing's coming out of there, so it's going to hold it nice and in place. So that's the main hold down. We got our bottom clips here. That opens our door, and we're going to be able to pull a tray in and out of there. Alright, again guys, if you made it this far in the video, be sure to comment, rate, subscribe. Let's take a sip. Big shout out Phoenix Reptiles and the homie MJ from Trap Talk, recommending this Woodford Reserve Double Oak Kentucky Straight Bourbon. So salute. All right. So right here, I'm going to take that pilot bit again. This is a 3/8 drill bit with the pilot point. I got a nice set at Harbor Freight for a good price. These drill bits are good for drilling through plastic. So I'm going to create some ventilation holes. So what I'm thinking is the front portion of the tub is going to be the cool side, and the back portion will be the warm side. So right here, I'm going to drill through the side of the tub, which will go through to the inner tub as well. So I'm going to keep these holes relatively high. I'm going to make a note right here, see reference level. I'm going to keep the holes fairly high. That way no rodents can get up and jump in there, just in case I have to feed a live rodent or something. It's not going to be able to chew out. So let's drill some of these holes. All right, so now that we got all those holes drilled, I'm going to take a razor scraper and I'm going to deburr all the holes. Okay, if we're looking at the front of the outer tub, the tub holder, we're going to flip it over. Right here on the back side, I'm going to make a notch for the wire to pass through. Something like that. Like that. This part's going to get cut out right here. I'm going to use the jigsaw so that way the wire, I can stack another tub below it, and the wire, the electrical wire from the heat mat, will be able to pass through that notch. All right, so now we're back to the inner tub here. I've got 4 holes on this side, 3 holes, 3 holes, 6 holes on the front, 4 holes on this side. Just a quick overview of that. Now, what I'm going to work on is the pull-out drawer. So what I'm going to have to do is take some measurements for that drawer. I'm going to grab a tape measure and measure. So right here, I've got 9 3/4. So we'll go 9 3/4 wide. Then lift this up. See right here. Got about 19. Yeah, about 19 inches of clearance. So 9 3/4 by 19. Alright guys, so what I've got here is an old dog crate pull-out drawer. Pull-out tray from an old dog crate. This is going to work perfect. It's basically made as a pull-out tray, which is what I want. So I'm going to repurpose this old dog crate pull-out tray that I found. I probably could get maybe 4 or 6 pieces out of this. So I'm going to cut it in a way that's the smartest and I can yield the most material from. And it's all wet, so what I'm going to do is just scribe it with a razor knife. And I'm going to cut it with the jigsaw So my measurements again for this specific tub that I'm making is 9 3/4 by 19. Let's go ahead and cut this pull-out tray. Alright, we got the pull-out tray cut. I think it will be sufficient right here. So the pull-out tray is going to pull out like that. Give you an overhead view what the pull-out tray came out looking like. So there is a little bit of a gap right here, but I think it's going to serve its perfect purpose. There's the pull-out tray. We're going to be able to come right here, lock that tray in there. Oh, nothing's getting out. Next, we're going to install the removable perch holders, which are the zip tie mounting brackets I bought from Home Depot. First, I'm going to wipe off the sides of the tub where the mounting brackets will be placed, and the adhesive will stick better. Using a paper towel. I'm going to be focusing on the upper 6 inches. Now that that's all clean, I'm going to go ahead and open these mounting brackets. I'm going to be using 4 mounting brackets. When using these mounting brackets, I like to cut one side of the one out of the 4 sides. I like to cut off. That side's cut off. That way, when we drop the perch in there, we're able to remove it. I'm just going to cut one side off of each perch holder. Next, I'm going to take a Sharpie and a tape measure and mark where I want each perch holder to go. I'm going to mark where the top of the perch holder will be placed on the center. I will put a dot in the center of where I want the perch holder to be placed, making sure the coordinating perch holders are level with this tape measure. It's important to make sure when you're mounting these perch holders that the side that we cut is pointing up so we can remove the perch from the top side. Simply peel back the adhesive protector. Line it up with your markings. Press firmly on a nice clean surface. voila, you have your perch holders. They're corresponding. The idea of these perch holders is to have a lower perch and a higher perch. This could be the basking perch, and this could be the cooling perch or drinking water perch. Now I'm going to take a measurement of what length to cut the perch. Right now I'm getting about 18 5/8 on that perch, and on this perch it looks to be the same. So I'll cut it a little heavier, of course. These are my perches. They are labeled as a 7/16 by 7/16 by 48 pine raw round dowel. I'm going to mark these to cut. I'll start at around 18 3/4 and go an 1/8 inch heavier of my measurement. I am now going to test fit the length of the perch. It fits pretty good, so I'm going to keep the same length on the next perch that I cut. Both perches are now installed. This size dowel does not spin in this perch holder. There is no spinning. These are non-spinning perches. Very happy with this perch setup. Now I'm going to place a clean water bowl in the enclosure. Directly in the center. We are now going to tape the heat mat on the enclosure. I've got some heat tape. I'm wiping the dust from where the heat tape will be placed to secure this heat mat. And this is where we cut that notch for this cord, so we can, if we ever want to, stack another enclosure on top of this. And the cool things about these tubs is they have a little space in between so the air can dissipate. I bought these 14-watt heat mats on a 3-pack from Amazon for about 30 bucks. They come with an inline thermostat. Just dusting off both the heat mat and where the tape will be placed on the enclosure. Making sure to get the edges as well. We've got our heat tape here. I bought this at Home Depot also. The trick with this heat tape from Home Depot is you have to peel it really fast, like that, or else I notice sometimes the glue will get caught to the other side of the tape. It seems to not be doing as much anymore now that the roll is aged, but when I first got it, the glue was sticking to the back side of the tape. If you pull it really fast, then it won't stick. I always cut it with a pair of scissors. I noticed an easy improvement I can add in this step. I'm going to cut this tab. There's a hollow tab here that can just be cut to allow a seamless integration with this heat mat. I'll cut that tab so this cord can sit more flush. Okay, the heating mat is now taped down nice and tight to the enclosure. Now going to slide back in your tub. So next I'm going to add a humidity gauge. So I'm going to trace where that gauge is going to go. I'm going to take that line right there. We're going to pop in the humidity gauge. Seems like it wants to be filed out just a bit in that corner. Right, go ahead and try that. Perfect. Just needed a little bit of filing. It's in there nice and tight. Got our humidity gauge in there. Alright. So as far as the heat mat goes, it has this thermostat. I have a few of these heat mats already, the same wattage I use for my ball pythons, for my belly heat racks. So what I found with the ball pythons, I get perfect temperature. So that's all the way off. I get perfect temperature at about half. About right there. Get a little feel for it right there. Is a good temperature. So what I recommend doing is get a piece of masking tape. Tape over that thermostat so that way the knob cannot move and it won't accidentally heat up on you. Just like that, just a little tape. Use masking tape, so if you need to adjust it, it's easy just to peel off and remove. And of course we'll be checking with the heat gun. Sorry, my heat gun's broken, but it's not plugged in yet. But when we get the animal in there and we run the heating mat, we'll be temp gunning the enclosure, the animal, and all the heat mat, and monitoring that heat, make sure it's not getting too hot or it's not too cold in there. Now, one of the last things I'm going to do is open the main clip, give a light spray in the enclosure, bump up the humidity in there. Alright guys, this is a little update. This is 2 days after building the setup and putting the animal in here. So just to show you the temperatures, it's about 105 on the heat mat. With the kept the thermostat still at that same setting that I had it at, about 50%. So it's running about 105 average. If I temp gun the animal, sitting about 82, 83. So, and it has the chance to go to the lower perch. I got this perch, I'm trying to get him off of here still. So he'll have the option to sit on the higher perch or go down to that lower perch to get away from the heat, or just get on the cool side. Right now he's sitting on the warm side, so he could get to the cool side because the heat mat only covers that side, and we got the ventilation holes drilled on this side. So I just opened this for a little bit. So temperatures are looking good. What up, homies? Just finished these dope pull-out drawer Arboreal conversion tubs. So you pull out, change the newspaper, fill up the water bowl without disturbing your arboreal snake. The humidity gauge right there. Alright, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, I really hope you guys enjoyed this build video of these container store arboreal snake conversion setups that I made, featuring the pull-out tray cleaning system. Really hope everyone is inspired by these, and maybe we see some more major cage companies starting to go with the pull-out tray system. I think it's definitely the way to go for arboreal species. And just sharing this video so that everyone can just go and make their own and continue to design and innovate and create something new for themselves, and hope I could bring some ideas to light. We could all brainstorm together on this wonderful platform we all call YouTube. Thank you. It's West Coast Reptiles, your boy Adrian, signing out with another build video. Thank you.